Fake gurus and Prince E. Where do I start here? I'm going to start by talking about Prince E, which is Prince EA. Prince E was a rapper back in whenever. He was born in 1988, so I guess he's about, 32. He was a rapper that kind of decided to become a guru overnight, right? He realized that there was marketing to be made with positive affirmations and telling people that they're great and giving you these bullshit ideas of what life really means. Now I know he'll never watch this video, which is fine. And I know that, I'm not here to try to... This isn't clickbait or related to trying to get attention because I'm talking about somebody who's popular. I think that that's the main misconception that happens. When I talk about things specifically like this, it's because I find a person kind of repulsive. And I understand when a person's trying to make money over being a true help to society. That's my opinion, of course. I was going to read you an article. I think it was actually a Wikipedia part of the page about Prince E. But my phone's in there and screw it. I don't need to. You can look it up yourself if you want. But it gives a good description about the controversies, about how he used to rap, about he rapped saying fag, he was really a douchebag. His raps were pretty stupid, talked about killing people and whatnot. And then overnight, all of a sudden, he's changed his tone. But then it also goes on to talk about how he basically marginalized depression as something you can just overcome, which I know really offends people who are depressed. I've done that in the past. I've tried to oversimplify it, not meaning to, but, people who have had depression say, hey, it's not always that simple. I totally understand. But there were a few people who called him out on his bullshit. A few different channels, Boy in a Band, there was Nerd City, there was H3H3. He actually did a full inspirational parody of it, which was pretty funny. But these guru guys who come around with these, putting their own quotes on things that were taken from quotes that are 1,000 years old or, hundreds of years old they just put their name below it. And basically, I have a personal connection to this because I love to teach people about what I would think of as the mystical or the ethereal or that spiritual zone of our hearts, right? But you wouldn't think it listening to my videos a lot of the time. I seem very standoffish, maybe arrogant sometimes, but not to all people, but some people might feel that I don't really have that I'm very rigid or too rational in how I think. But I'm not at all. I'm rational, sure, but I'm not rigid. I'm always open-minded. And that's one of the things is when you diss a lot of these so-called gurus, the first thing they come up with is, oh man, people are just closed-minded, they don't understand. Total bullshit. No, I understand, and I'm way more fucking guru than any of these guys. That's a complete joke. That's the thing. There's a competitive nature of these people. It's like, no, I can teach you the truth. And back in YouTube's 2010s, it was horrible. Around 2011 or 12, everybody was claiming they were the truthers. It's like, shut up. You're not a truther. Your reality is your reality. But eventually, editing programs and video, editing became so amazing that all you have to do is put on a white suit or some flowing robes and walk through the ocean at sunset with some background piano music in slow motion and put inspirational quotes, and all of a sudden you're some kind of fucking guru. And it's pathetic. It really is. The guy knows nothing about real understanding. I mean, talk to me in 20 years when he says things like, spend less time online and don't use social media so much, and people are too obsessed with social media. But he posts on Instagram like 20 times a day, and I guess half of his posts are links to like products and merch. And look, I'm done with him at this point. I just wanted to make my point to start with that guy because he's kind of a bad influence on people. Anybody who wants to listen to him who thinks this guy knows what he's talking about. Anybody can look professional. I'm not going to sit here and toot my own horn, but I sit behind the camera like this. I don't put background inspirational music or flow through fields on purpose. I know that if I made a channel I'm just going to say this, it sounds kind of douchebaggy, but if I made a channel where it was like Carpo's inspirations, and it was me walking through the woods like, yeah, man, you just have to have the spirit and connect with this and that and your nature, and I tried to pretend like I was a dream interpreter or any of these other things, or an astrologer, eventually I'd get a huge following and people would be like, wow, you're amazing, thank you, you've changed my life. But I would feel like shit because I'd be lying. And that's what these fake ass gurus are doing. So people will capitalize on anything. You know, it's not just the gurus that are the problem, it's the kid gurus, the ones who cater to the kids. And they don't even realize that they realize they're doing it, but give you an example is Jake Paul. And I compare Jake Paul to Prince E in the same realm. They're just trying to get attention. It's not about the message. There is no real message. It's about how much shit can you sell. And they tell you as much as, well, Jake Paul does. You know, he just rubs his merch in the fans' faces. And, you know, I couldn't believe it. I think, who did an interview with Jake or Logan Paul? It was like Russell Brand. I was just like, what? Went to his house and Jake gave him like this big Buddha statue or something. The thing is, kids like that are out of touch, and the reason why it matters is because so many people, kids, look at him as like a guru. Now, Jake Paul's been asked several times, you know, what kind of age group do you cater to? And he says, 8 to 16. That's his age group. Fine, so be it. But when 8-year-olds, I have a 7 and a 10-year-old, when they're watching that kind of shit, which thank God my kids don't, but my youngest son watches Unspeakable, which isn't much better. He's a little better, maybe. But it's all the same shit. And these guys are shameless. They plug their merch every 2 minutes. It's all about merch, merch, merch. On top of that, they waste huge amounts of bullshit, filling swimming pools with balls and Lego towers, and then trashing things that are just going to go in the garbage, and, you know, really generally just making it look like, you know, everybody can just waste shit, you know. And sometimes it's maybe funny for the kids. I get that. I'm not being the old man here. I'm just saying this isn't anything new. In fact, having a channel like that, let me put it this way, having a channel like that where that many people watch it, that many kids, wasting a pool of balls or Legos or something is nothing compared to what the studios in Hollywood waste to make a shitty movie or something that maybe less people watch. So I guess I shouldn't complain about that. But, you know, it's just shameful that these people actually put out this garbage and so many kids are enamored by it. I just don't get it any more than I understand why adults believe in the guru bullshit. But you know what? I'm guilty. I fell into it in 2012 or so. I'm going to tell you, I used to listen to a guy, David Wilcock. If you look him up, he's this scrawny blonde dude who talked about spirituality in 2012. I was reading these books, you know, like a Daniel Pinchbeck book, 2012, The Return to Quetzalcoatl. It was about, you know, the Mayan calendar, and of course I didn't believe it was the end of the world. It was just a new beginning, and I really had this spiritual kind of belief in, you know, I was saying love and light and stuff like that, and I just, you know, looking back, it's like, okay, I understand why people go there, but, you know, it's easy to make a channel where you're selling horoscopes. Do I believe in horoscopes? No, I don't. I do not believe that any human on earth can read a horoscope accurately and understand it. Anybody can make a general blanket statement. Now, could I be wrong? Yes, I could be. But I think I would imagine that if it is true, then at least 99% of astrologers are full of shit. Now, I have an astrology book. I've done all my charts. I get it. It's very convincing. My belief is that there's something there, but that's for another time altogether. So I am open-minded about it, is what I mean. Open-minded about what people may know, but especially when it comes to the guru types, you know, it's like, well, maybe they have something to offer that I'm not aware of, you know. So I'm open-minded, but the only problem is that a lot of these folks use the open-minded excuse. If anybody disagrees with them, they say, you're just not open-minded. And even if you tell them, no, I've been through that whole phase for like 5 years, they just deny it. It's the same way as saying you're a hater. Hey man, you're not woke, bro. You know. that stupid term woke, you know, when I was younger, we used to talk about being awakened or waking up, and then all of a sudden this term woke comes up, where it's like it just means that you recycle, or you know, clean up the dog shit off the path or something, or you can stand up for, you know, racial justice. You know, it doesn't mean anything really anymore. But you're a hater, you're not woke, or you're not open-minded, or basically the things people say when they have no real defense for the garbage that they put out on YouTube, like the people I'm talking about. And you know, it's funny because sometimes if somebody talks about them, like I mentioned about this at the beginning, people will say, "Oh, you're just making a video to get views because you're talking about this person." And it was really funny because Boy in a Band made a video talking about Prince E. And then Prince E made a video to his haters talking about how much he doesn't care. I don't care about haters. I don't have the time for him. But it was like this long video where he looked all sobby. And then he even called the dude out by saying, "Oh, Boy in a Band was just probably doing that to get views." And then another dude made a video, I think it was Nerd City, great channel. He made a video showing that the views that Boy in a Band got on that video were less than like any of his other recent videos. But actually, when Prince E made a response to Boy in a Band, that was his highest rated video. And, you know, it's funny when they call people out like that. There's a certain satisfaction that comes from seeing people called out for their bullshit. I have papers and papers I've written about, like, exposing bullshit, like scam artists on YouTube that I just never have published, I've never shared. A couple of them I have, but, you know, it's this... A lot of them steal ideas, and the worst part is that they're so thin-skinned. If you call them out, they put a copyright strike on your video, right? If I were to even share a picture of like Prince E or some of these other guys, they will try to copyright strike you for just using a picture because they're so fucking cowardly. They can't even deal with criticism. And I think people are used to that from a lot of people. I remember people saying, "Oh, you can just..." People still say this to me. They're like, "Oh, you probably won't agree with what I say and block me, but..." And then they'll go on. And I'm like, I don't block anybody because of their opinion. You know, it was like 10 years ago. I remember Alex Jones, when he was first starting out on YouTube, I was commenting on his videos and calling him out, but I was doing it in a kind of respectful manner. I wasn't really disagreeing completely. He wasn't that batshit crazy quite yet, but he blocked me twice personally. That was back when he dealt with his own shit. But a lot of these people who make these big bold claims about being truthers and sharing the truth with the world are completely cowardly and thin-skinned, and really they're just out for the dollars. And that's what I believe about Alex Jones, about Prince E, about Jake Paul, of course. But Jake won't deny it. I just threw him in there because he's such a douchebag. I guess I'm a hater, right? So, you know, like for the rest of us, a lot of people feel really awkward plugging themselves, you know, plugging merch in their videos. If I'm like, you know, go to my merch page, which I actually want to make some merchandise. I want to make that Carpo 719 sign that I have behind me usually and put it on a t-shirt. I thought it'd be kind of cool. But I do have a plan for my patrons on Patreon, and I made a bunch of, there's several different ones, but I made these bracelets with, some with cannabis, some with kratom, and a few other things. And I was going to make like a package thing that I could send out to people. Not just for Patreon, though. I mean, I'd like to do it on my channel, like have a drawing or something, just to give back to my viewers in general. It's not like I expect to get donations. It's just, I was thinking about a way to organize it to where maybe I'll do a contest, you know, something to come up with ideas. I'm actually wanting to do a documentary this year, and I want to spend like all year doing it. And I'm going to the Fish concert in a few months, so I want to, and probably Soak, the regional Burning Man here. So I want to be able to do interviews with people, and I want to ask 10 questions. And I was going to ask my subscribers, if you have ideas, I'd like to maybe take the 10 best questions my subscribers can come up with. But don't leave them here, it'll just get all mixed up. I'm going to do a separate video on that, I think, because that's an important one. So I think I'm done. I just wanted to leave one last note. Fame does not equal expertise. It doesn't matter if you have tens of thousands or tens of millions or tens of billions of views on your movie, on your video, or people who have read your book or who listen to you. It's really easy to let knowledge go to your head, and when people seem to praise you and you think you're doing so great, you know, you just think you're on top of the world. But you fall from grace pretty quick. Everybody is full of shit, and we all have our problems. I mean, some of the people who people look to, some of the strongest people, have all kinds of faults. Like I mentioned in the last video, Jordan Peterson, who so many guys were like, oh yeah, he tells guys to, deal with it like a man, and now he's in Russia getting treatment for benzodiazepine withdrawal because he couldn't handle his own shit. It's okay. People are just people. But when you're making big, bold claims online and you think you've got it all figured out, it's really easy to get called out. And that's how I felt about Prince E and why I had to mention this. I think he's kind of a douchebag. So, whatever. It's just my opinion. There's plenty more douchebags to talk about. Jesse Lee Peterson, I did a video about him on my other channel a while back. Just a complete shitbag. I mean, one of the biggest idiots I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I haven't seen very many people this dumb. But what's even worse is that people who seem rather intelligent listen to him and think he knows what he's talking about. So, anyway, he's always talking about alphas and betas because he's obviously a beta, if there is such a thing. But I'm a gamma, I'm a delta. Anyhow, be well. I beta be getting going. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll talk to you soon. God, that sounds cheesy, no matter who says it.